Hello, I'm Tom McCrae, Golf Operations Manager here at Laguna Woods Village Golf Course. Today we're coming to you to update some of the operating rules that have changed since the last time that we came to you with this video. And just to reiterate some of the important things that we are going to point out. You know, even though we have sent out quite a few messages, emails, and different things to try to alert people to the kinds of things that will make the golf course a more enjoyable place for you, but also a better place for the golf operations to be able to provide that great service. So the things we're going to point out to you today are not meant to be restrictive, they're meant to be helpful. And they're also meant to protect you and your fellow residents from the people that might be using the golf course in a way that they're not supposed to. So we are going to ask that you pay close attention. And if you have any questions, please reach out to the golf shop staff so they can reiterate these rules for you. And now I'd like to invite Gail Ford from my golf operations team to lead you through the slideshow presentation for today. Gail?
Thank you, Tom. All right, so welcome to the golf course, everyone. Golfing amenities here in Laguna Woods Village are available to all residents and their guests. Current residents who have not yet registered to golf, which we'll talk about shortly, are also welcome. And this presentation is meant to go over how to become a resident golfer and the amenities available to you during your round or other golfing activities. Through this presentation, we're going to talk about how to become a resident golfer, amenities available to you, how to arrive and play at the various courses or the driving range, other services that are offered, and then we'll have a Q&A and wrap up, but only for those that attend this in a live session setting. So just for everyone's information, on the first Tuesday of every month, this session is held in person at the Village Greens building at 10 a.m. in the morning, and anyone is welcome to attend.
And one thing to remember too is, as you may think, golf orientation is only for those new to golf. Even if you are a very experienced player, you know, the systems at Laguna Woods, like in many different golf courses, are slightly different. So even if you are an advanced player but new to golfing in Laguna Woods, attending that orientation would be highly advisable.
Thank you. Okay, to become a resident golfer, so if you are a resident or an occupant in the village, you are able to become what we call a resident golfer. In order to establish your golf account, you come in person to the Pro Shop, which is underneath the 19 restaurant inside Gate 12, with your resident ID card and a valid credit card. We will then establish a golf account for you that will be a place where all fees for golf are charged. The way this works is that anytime you play a round of golf, use the driving range, play the par 3, or purchase any product like a shirt or tees or socks or shoes, whatever you need, will be charged to this golf account. The charges will accrue throughout the month, and on the first of the following month, you will be sent a statement via email. If there are no issues with that statement, then no action is needed on your part. And on the 4th of every month of the golf charges you've accumulated in the prior month will settle to your credit card. Periodically, if your card expires or there's another issue with your card, you may receive an email from us on the 4th or 5th advising you that your charges did not settle, and we can work with you to add a new card to your golf account.
One thing to keep in mind when you see the charge come through, it will give you the option to pay now. We advise, although you're certainly welcome to do that, but we advise to just let the charges happen automatically. The timing issues of how much you're going to be charged and when it's going to be charged can sometimes make things confusing. If you just let it happen naturally as part of the process, it works out more consistently for both you and the golf operation.
Thank you. Another thing to keep in mind is that any charges incurred at the golf facilities are separate from any other village fees and charges that you may incur. Okay. Also to keep in mind, you must have your physical resident ID card with you every time you come to use the golf facility, and that ID needs to be presented in person when you show up to golf.
And keep in mind that this is to protect obviously the amenity from those that actually have amenity rights. The physical ID is a necessary part of identifying as to who you are and that you do have amenity privileges. Just having a picture, just having a photocopy is not having the physical card with you. And it is a requirement by the GRF board that everybody using the amenities has that card with them. So please understand that if you do show up, and there is a time where you show up without your resident ID card, as long as the guest ratio is met, you can still play, but it would be at a guest rate. So please make sure that that card is with you at all times.
What are the golf amenities here in Laguna Woods Village? So there are several areas where you can play golf. The first is we have a 27-hole course at the Village Greens building inside Gate 12. On any given day, two of those, so that 27-hole course is made up of 3 9-hole courses. And on any given day, 2 of those courses make up an 18-hole round and 1 course is reserved for a 9-hole round. There are some exceptions to this for course maintenance and club days, but essentially 18-hole rounds and 9-hole rounds are available every day. There is also a par 3 course, which is located inside gates 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that par 3 course is a 9-hole course, walking only, and no tee time is needed for the par 3 course. There is a driving range inside gate 16 behind clubhouse 7. And throughout the various golf facilities, there are putting and chipping areas that are free to use. In addition, there is the Restaurant 19. Again, it's above the Pro Shop inside the Gate 12. And there are also club rooms that can be rented through the Recreation Department if you want to hold a banquet or any type of party. Those club rooms are available for rent through the Recreation Office. We also offer golf lockers for those that want to store their clubs at the golf course. However, we have limited numbers of lockers available and are currently running a quite extensive waiting list for golf lockers. But if you want to get on the waiting list, you're free to come and put your name on the waiting list, and we'll contact you when your name comes up. So who are the staff that man all of these facilities? They consist of staff in the Pro Shop at the Village Greens building, the Par 3 Pro Shop. We have driving range attendants, course attendants, and groundskeeping staff. Throughout the day, you'll see all of these various folks working and supporting the golf courses.
And just to keep in mind that a copy of the operating rules is available on the website. As a golfer at Laguna Woods, it is your responsibility to understand those. And it's also the responsibility of the staff that operate the golf course to enforce those rules. I think our staff do a really good job of not making it an adversarial relationship. We tend to be very nice about how we do it. But we want to make sure that you do play the golf course as you're supposed to and follow the rules that are on there. And staff do have the authority to enforce those rules. So if somebody does direct you a certain way from the golf shop staff or the course attendant staff, please know that they are speaking for the golf operation.
Okay, so now we're going to go over a very high-level overview of some of the more important operating rules. And it is important that all of our resident golfers understand these rules and that these rules also apply to their guests, should they have any, and they are responsible for their guests, should they be bringing any outside guests to the courses. The first is we have a dress code at the golf course. Golf is a game of tradition, and we follow a traditional dress code for men with a collared shirt, and for ladies with can be more mock neck or polo, but no tank tops, no denim, various other golf-appropriate clothing is outlined in more detail in the operating rules. We also rent golf carts at the 27-hole course, or you can use your personal golf cart. If you are renting a golf cart, you do so when you check in to play golf. Or if you're using a personal golf cart, we will charge an annual trail fee for using your personal cart on the golf course. If you prefer to walk, you can bring your own manual or automatic push cart, or you can rent one from the Pro Shop. Push carts or pull carts are available at both the 27-hole and the Par 3 course.
With regards to the trail fee that Gail mentioned, I just want to clarify, if you do buy a golf cart, you are welcome to, as well as your spouse living in the same household, use that golf course for their rounds of golf that they play. But the golf trail fee does not apply to the golf cart. So if you loan the golf cart to a friend, a neighbor, or somebody that you know, that trail fee is not applied to them. They would also have to have a trail fee or pay a daily trail fee of $10 per round to use that cart on the golf course. The whole idea of the trail fee is that the golf course is charging an amount for rounds that a person would reasonably play on the golf course, not for a round that a golf cart may be able to reasonably play. So that's why it's differentiated. So the golf cart trail fee applies to the person and maybe another person in their household that's using that cart to play.
Okay, and finally on golf carts, there are golf cart paths throughout the golf course, but one area of note, specifically from Clubhouse 4, around what is called the perimeter path to the pickleball courts, is a shared path with bicyclists, walkers, people walking dogs, etc. So if you are playing any of the courses along this shared path, please be aware that there might be pedestrians on that one section of the cart path. Pedestrians not playing golf are not allowed in the golf course itself during hours of play. So if you do see someone you think is out of place, please call the pro shop and we can send someone out to investigate. The next operating rule is around guests. So by guests, we mean people that do not live or reside in Laguna Woods Village. At the 27-hole course, you are allowed to bring one guest before 10 a.m. and up to 3 guests after 10 a.m. Those guests have to follow all of the same dress code policies and are responsible for paying their own fee. The guest rates are different than the resident rates, and all of that information can be found on the Laguna Woods Village website. We do have a cancellation policy. The details of this policy, again, are outlined in the operating rules online. In general, this cancellation policy is that you have to cancel your tee time at least 3 hours prior to the tee time when you're going to play. The reason for that is if you cancel later, we are unable to resell that tee time to another resident. Being a very busy course, we like to maximize the number of players we can get out on the course at any given time. And if you do not cancel, you will be charged for a no-show and have to pay the greens fee for that round. We also have men's and ladies golf clubs, golf leagues, for lack of a better word, a 9 and 18 hole for men and a 9 and 18 hole for women. The women play on Tuesday mornings and the men play on Wednesday mornings. To the extent that the clubs do not use all of their tee times, we will open tee times for other golfers around Monday of each week, but there's no guarantee on when we'll open those tee times. So if you're anxious to play on a Tuesday or a Wednesday morning, you must continue to check 4UP and see if anything has come available. Arriving and playing at the golf course. So once you've secured a tee time, which if you attend this session in person, we do go through a live demo of how to make a tee time. But once you arrive, or once you've secured a tee time, if your tee time is, for example, 8:04, 8:04 is not the time that you show up at the window to check in. You should arrive and be ready to play at least 15 to 20 minutes before your scheduled tee time. If you arrive exactly at your tee time, there is a possibility you will miss your tee time and be unable to play. We do ask that all golfers play what's called ready golf, which is as soon as you're ready and there's no one in your path, to please proceed and play, as opposed to allowing the person you feel should go first to go first.
The tradition of golf sometimes gets lost in reality when the person who makes the best score on the prior hole is supposed to play first on the next hole. Says, well, that has relevance in a lot of competitions, but in your round, it should be the person that gets to the tee first should go ahead and play. I would say it's a common courtesy to say, I'm going to go ahead, we're going to play ready golf, so everybody understands that. And also, you don't want to make sure when you're out in the fairway, you don't want to get yourself in a position where you're playing ready golf by putting yourself in front of somebody who still has to play, because obviously that can be a little dangerous. But as long as you're not in the way of somebody and they are not ready or they are not to their ball yet, we want to play ready golf to keep play moving.
Okay, there's also online a set of what's called local rules, which explain any unique golf rules that are for Laguna Woods Village only. For example, if your ball is on a route, how do you treat that? There are a few local rules that golfers can read up on and understand prior to playing. If you encounter an emergency while on the course, please immediately call 911 and get the emergency services started in your direction, and then call the pro shop and we can assist with bringing any emergency personnel out to your location. This is the same at the driving range. If you have an emergency, call 911 and then let the pro shop know, and we'll take it from there and notify security as well. We do have course etiquette. Pedestrians, if you see a pedestrian on the course that you don't feel should be there, or if you see someone parking their cart in front of the cart signs or on a green or where they shouldn't be, please call the pro shop and we will again send someone out to investigate and find out what the issue is. A more detailed version of these operating rules can be found at the link that's shown on this page. Okay, the next slide is, we've talked about most of these already, but all courses at the 27-hole course check in at the starter window, which is at the Village Greens building on the lower level, right next to the water and ice machine. If you're playing at the par 3 course, there is a small pro shop there where you do check in prior to playing. As I mentioned, the par 3 course does not need a tee time, so you're welcome to play whenever you feel like playing golf. We do ask that you update your tee times before showing up at the window with all resident names or guests. If you're unable to do that when making the reservation, please call and we can assist with that. Do not bring more players than you've reserved. If you've booked for 2, please do not bring 3 people, because we probably already have another twosome there. Also, we do allow 5th players in certain circumstances. So if you've booked a foursome and you'd like to bring a 5th player, you need to have that approved on the day of play. So call the pro shop in the morning.
And I think everybody that has played at Laguna Woods knows that there can be a line at the front window. And the line moves quickly when all players that are playing follow those 3 points. The line grows and moves slowly when players don't. And so what we're trying to help you do, we can take a long time from a golf operations staff to check in each foursome. But obviously that doesn't help you enjoy your day more. So what we're asking you to do is, if all the names and the correct names that you're playing with that day in your foursome are listed, then the check-in process is very easy, it's very quick. And if you're bringing more players than you booked for, most of the time that's not going to work, and there's going to be a negotiation at the window. And if you bring a 5th player that was not approved, that can be a negotiation at the window. And so keep in mind that we're trying to do it for your benefit. Now, on the 5th player, the reason that we only do this on the day of is, quite honestly, there are some groups that do not have the authority to play with 5 players. We have lists in their profile that says this group can't play by 5 because they don't play fast enough. And we also have lots of people that can. So it's really up to the starter on that day. So even that group that maybe is not allowed to play a 5th on most days, it's hot or it's cold or it might rain, so the day is slow, and then we'll say, okay, go ahead. But that has to be approved on the day of. So if you follow those check-in at starter window rules, it's going to be better for everybody.
Thank you. All right, as mentioned earlier, please arrive 15 to 20 minutes prior to your tee time. Some other high-level course rules and etiquette: do not practice on the golf course. There's no practicing or hitting multiple balls multiple times. Even if it doesn't appear that there's anyone around, it is not a practice course. Play the course the starter has assigned you. In some circumstances, you may have thought you booked course 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, but due to issues, we've had to reassign you to another course. So the starter will assign you your course or let you know, or validate the course that you think you're playing when you come to check in. The tee times are scheduled every 8 minutes, and that makes our pace of play about 14 to 15 minutes per hole. If you're new to golf and it's your first time on the 27-hole course, please keep that pace in mind and know that there are probably groups behind you that you could be holding up. Additionally, on guests, the resident that is bringing the guests is responsible for adding the guest to dwelling live or calling gate clearance for a pass into gate 12. If your guest is driving, they need to have a pass that is specific to gate 12. In addition to a pass they may already have for your individual home, they need a gate 12 pass.
One other point on the pace of play to point out is that we generally are looking for a round of golf between 4 hours and 4 hours and 15 minutes. We feel like, and the industry feels like that is an acceptable pace of play to finish 18 holes without playing slow, without playing overly in a hurry, with enjoying your day. So when you're out on the course and you feel like a group in front of you might be playing slower than you'd like, please take that into consideration, because nobody should be forced to play at somebody else's pace, as long as they're within that 4 hour to 4 hour and 15 minutes. We get lots of calls in the golf shop, people complaining about slow play, and in analyzation, most of those calls are determined to not be slow play. It's simply somebody wanting to play at a pace that's not equal to the pace of the golf course. So please keep that in mind when you're out on the course.
Okay, some other amenities that are available at the pro shop or to golfers in general. So lessons are offered. There are pros on staff, and the pro shop can give you contact information for any of the pros on staff. Outside pros are not allowed at the golf course. Once you become a resident golfer, you may start receiving emails about fitting days, which is where the various golf club vendors will show up at the range or schedule to be at the driving range, and you can schedule a fitting with that vendor if you're looking to purchase clubs. We also rent clubs. We have a few sets of rental clubs in the pro shop if you're having a guest that doesn't have their own clubs, or if you need to borrow a set of clubs for whatever reason. We sell balls, tees, clothing, shoes, and other various amenities in both of the pro shops at the Village Greens and the Par 3. We also will replace golf grips if your golf clubs need a new grip. We have a small cart wash or air hose for personal golf carts. The cart wash needs a token, which you can purchase inside the pro shop. We also offer demo clubs, which you leave your resident ID and you can take a demo club out on the course. We do ask that a maximum of 2 times only for the demo clubs to allow other residents the opportunity to use the clubs. And in addition, and non-golf related, but if you'd like to try out paddle tennis or pickleball, you can borrow paddles from the pro shop. Okay, now if you are attending in person, this is where we would go to a live demo of how to use 4UP and how to book a tee time. There is a link on this page, once it's posted online, that you can watch a video of how to book a tee time. And it will go through how to add names, how to book, how not to double book, and how to cancel, and what to do if you're playing with guests. But that is available during the in-person session only. And then in the appendix of this presentation, we're showing these are the hours of operation for the golf facilities. And these hours may change based on weather or time of year. And at the bottom of the page, there's a course condition hotline number you can call. It is a recording. It's updated every day at 6:15 and throughout the day as needed, but this will always give you the current status of the golf course and what's open and what's closed, and if any special events are happening.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I know it's a lot of information, but if you watch it slowly and kind of take notes and give yourself some reminders, it can be a really good tool for you to use to navigate the golf courses at Laguna Woods. I would say that if you have any questions about that, please attend. It's the first Tuesday of every month in the club rooms at the Village Greens up by the restaurant, where Gail does do this in person, and you can take the time to ask questions and get particular answers to something that may not be clear. Other than that, I appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you at the golf course.